Hey guys, John here, and welcome back to John's RC. So today I have the OMPHOBBY M2 EXPLORE. This is the second generation of the OMPHOBBY M2, and I think this one is a slightly cheaper option because they did make a few changes in the design. So the most noticeable thing is this tail. This tail is like this teardrop shape instead of like the traditional just like round boom, and it's also aluminum, and the more expensive options like the M2 V2 and the M2 from 2020 include a carbon fiber tail. And you can also see that this skid here, it's nylon, it's not carbon fiber like the 2020 version, so it does cut off some weight and some of the price. And there are more things that we will go more in detail on at the end of the video, so stay tuned if you want to see that. So now this will just be the Maiden Flight. So at the end of the video we'll explain how we bound it, what we use, and all of that. So for our first flight, I'm going to be tuning the flybarless controller. I have like a tiny screwdriver in my pocket here so I can press the little buttons. So I'm going to just take off the canopy for that reason, and just put on my ground here. Okay, so let's take off here, I guess. Take out a normal mode. Jumpy. I have my throttle curve set to, I think, 50, 60, 70 right now. I have it on normal mode. This has stabilization, so you can see it's bouncing back. Won't be able to do anything. Taking it to idle up 2. Top stops are good. Got a lot of tail control. Pyro comp is okay. So it's actually pretty good. Feels powerful. It feels good. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and land it really quick. Okay. Let's tune this flybarless controller. I don't know how we're gonna do this, if we're doing it on camera or whatnot, so so you can see in here I'm changing the speed on the elevator, and I'm also going to change it to the aileron. So I think it's on, let me see, I think it's on 6 right now. Let's bump this up to 7. And the way you do that is actually really cool. To change the numbers on the flybarless controller, you move the stick on the right stick. So I want to bump it up, so change the flybarless. And I also want to change it on the aileron, so let me move it to aileron. If I can press it. Can I press it? Aileron, there you go. You can see that. And let me see. Look, it's on 5. Let's bump that up to 7 and see how that does. 1, 2. Okay. How do you set it? I'm guessing you just hold it. Okay. We'll see what that does for us. Okay, just put it here. That feels better. So I'm just doing slow 3D. The tail is holding up really well. Oh, I like her. Timer's running out, but I think we have a bit more battery life. People claim that this micro is probably like the best micro of the year. So, I mean, I can see it. She's flying super, super well right now. For a direct drive tail, look at how amazing that tail authority is. So cool. Okay. For a maiden flight, she's doing really, really well. She's handling so perfectly. Let me go ahead and land it and change out the battery. Okay. Alright, so that was my maiden flight on the OMPHOBBY M2 EXPLORE, and she's just amazing. For the maiden flight, she flew super, super well, and the tail authority is outstanding. I didn't really have high hope for the tail because it's a direct drive, and I thought maybe the tail authority might not be the best, but I mean, she's really, really good, and she's really accurate. I like where my throttle curves are now, but I think I'm gonna bump it up like 5% for idle up 2. That's normally where I fly. So yeah, let's go and put in another battery.
Awesome maiden, John.
Alright guys, we're back with another battery on the M2 EXPLORE. We also changed some things off camera. I forgot to mention that I changed the agility on both the aileron and the elevator to 7, and I also changed the throttle curves on just like the Spektrum programming to 65, 75, 85. So it might be a bit more violent this time. I think it was a bit too low for me last flight, so hopefully this will put up better. And we are also using the canopy this time, so hopefully it looks on camera. So right now it's just 65. My idle up 2 last time was 75. Or no, not 75, sorry, 70. Oh yeah, you can hear it's a lot more powerful now. flying really good. Go ahead and do a few circles. To me, it feels like the servo settings are a bit robotic. That's just a tad bit though, and you can probably fix that somehow. I might have to add some expo onto the just like standard Spektrum programming. Oh boy, I like her. I like her a lot. She's nice. And accuracy, the Steam simulator that I did a video on does have the M2 and the M2 Explorer, so I might do a video on the realism between the two. Maybe. I'm not sure yet. OMP stated that this thing gets like 4 minutes of flight time. I have it set to 3, so... Okay, I lied. My battery just died. Very coincidental that my battery died as soon as I was speaking about the timer. I'm hoping it's the battery and not the helicopter. I was having a good time with that. Okay. Let's unplug this. Oh. Okay, I actually lied. Fly for 3 minutes. This battery's really hot. Okay, so that was my second flight on the OMP M2 Explorer. She flew so nicely with the new throttle curves. I think I possibly killed my battery, but it's fine. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my flights. So now stay tuned so me and my dad can talk about more in-depth look on the Explorer, and we can show you what satellite we use to bind it to our controller and all of that. So yeah,
awesome flight, John. Absolutely awesome flight. Congratulations, bud, on your beautiful maiden. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed John's maiden flight on this beautiful OMP Hobby M2 Explorer. Not Explorer, I keep saying Explorer, but it's actually Explorer. This is the box that came with it. So as you can see, the helicopter comes in 3 different colors. For marketing purposes, they actually called it Crystal Green, Racing Yellow, and Charm Orange. But John chose the green version. So let's go ahead and open the box. Here. All right, so this is what the box looks like, and you can see that this box actually doubles as a case holder for the helicopters. That's pretty cool, John. Yeah. So as you can see, this is the helicopter over here. They give you these little small manuals. I don't even think I had a chance to look at these. They give you this little baggie, and in this baggie it looks like they gave you a spare main shaft. feathering shaft, some zip ties, and some links. And they gave you one battery, and this is an OMP battery. It's a 3-cell 650 45C discharge rate battery. And as you can see, the case actually comes with 2 slots for the battery, but they only give you one. So you can put another one over here. And for me, I bought 2 extra batteries, so I put the third one over here. So John, why don't you talk to them a little bit more about this beautiful heli? Let's take it out of the box over here. Okay. Here's the battery for it. Let's put this down here.
So, like my dad said, this is the OMP M2 EXPLORE. There's 3 versions of the M2. There's the original M2 from 2020, then there's the M2 EXPLORE, and then there's the M2 V2. And at the time of recording this video, there's actually a 4th version of the M2, the M2 EVO. And I think it's just slightly bigger than all of them. So, all 3 M2s, or all 4 now, are direct drive models, meaning there isn't any gear on the motor here. It's just directly attached to the motor. Same thing for the tail. It's not belt or torque driven. There's just a blade and then there's a tail motor. So we just take off the canopy here. I really like this canopy design too. The painting is really nice, and for plastic it's actually pretty tough, and so it's not really like floppy, so that's also really nice. So as you can see, this is the flybarless controller, and then we do have to add a DSMX satellite, so we are using a Racetech Kenson DSM2 and DSMX compatible satellite, and we have it bound to our Spektrum NX-8. So the main difference between the M2 2020 version and the M2 V2, and why it's different from the M2 EXPLORE, is because they changed a bunch of the design choices for the materials. So the first notable thing is these landing gears. For the original M2 version, it has this carbon fiber landing skid, and the M2 EXPLORE has this like nylon material here. And you can see on the M2 EXPLORE, it has like this kind of, if you look at it this way, it kind of has like this teardrop for like V-shaped design for the tail boom, and it's also aluminum. And the M2 2020 version has a carbon fiber tail boom, and it also has the traditional circle thing. And same thing, or no, and on the M2 V2, it also uses the aluminum tail boom, but I'm pretty sure it has just the traditional tail boom design. Now, I think the most comparable thing to the M2 EXPLORE is the Blade Fusion 180. Size-wise, you can see it's pretty comparable. If I just take off this blade holder, you can see, sorry, and you can see it's almost the same size. The M2 is longer. It has a 408mm length. I'm not sure what the Blade Fusion 180 is, but all the blade sizes are also very comparable. I'm pretty sure the blade size on the M2 EXPLORE is 173mm, and this is a Blade Fusion 180, so it's pretty comparable in size. And I think the M2 EXPLORE would be good in between the Blade Fusion 180 and the Blade 230S. As you can see, the size on the M2 EXPLORE is not quite the same to the Blade 230S, so it's basically the in-between. So for the power, this has a Sunny Sky V2. I think it's like an R43. I think it's a 380 watt direct drive motor. And I'm not sure about the size on the tail. I don't know what the wattage is, but I know it's like a 71mm tail rotor, so yeah. And let me just plug it in for you. And
there's a battery there already? Oh, no.
No. And to show you how this battery goes in, let me just take off this Velcro. I don't think you actually need the Velcro, but it really just like slides in this little compartment here. If I can just, there we go. So as you can see, it just slides in there, and it has a pretty snug fit. So let me just plug it in. It has an XT30 or an XT15, I'm not sure.
XT30.
Okay, yeah. Put you back in there.
Let's put the Velcro on.
Okay. Gonna read. There we go. So I did change a few things to the flight bar list, and the flight bar list is really easy to change. I didn't learn this off the manual because the text is really small and the translation is kind of difficult to understand. So I got my information online, but really you can see if you kind of get in a close look, there's a bunch of these buttons that are like engraved in these tiny holes here, and you need something tiny. I explained this in my flight video. I just used a tiny screwdriver to change it, and I changed basically everything. I changed like the agility and the servo speed to 7, and then I think that's it. For programming, it's very simple. All you really need to do is program your flight mode, and I always prefer my flight mode on switch B. So really all you have to do is just change on channel sign, just change gear to B, and then for my throttle curves, there's a bunch of mixed information online about this. Some people use 100%, some people don't go past 90. For my first flight, I think I used 50, 60, 70, and then I changed it on the second flight to 65, 75, 85. Don't use 65, 75, 85. I thought it would be fine because I saw like a flight online where this person flew for like at 100% throttle for like 3 minutes, and that was pretty cool. But at 85% throttle for like a 3-minute flight or 4 minutes, it drained my battery to 1%, and I don't think that battery is going to last any longer anymore, so it's kind of just like in quarantine now. But I am going to be changing my throttle curves to just like 65, 75, and then possibly 80, or maybe just keep it at 75 for idle up 1 and idle up 2. Pitch curves, just standard pitch. We use 0, 37, 50, 75, 100 for like all of our models. It's a pretty standard pitch. And then for idle up 1, idle up 2, standard 0, 25, 75, or 0, 25, 50, 75, 100. So yeah, it's pretty standard. For the flight, this thing is amazing. I wouldn't say it flies like the Blade Fusion 180. I feel like the Blade Fusion 180 feels a bit more fluid in like the servos. It feels a bit more natural. With the M2 Explorer, it feels slightly robotic, and I'm sure you can change that if you put in like slight amount of expo and then change the fly bar list to put like a really high number in it. But I mean, she flies super nicely. She's really stable, and for a direct drive model, she is very quiet in the air, and the tail does hold up really well. The tail performance was amazing on this model. Whenever I have a tail or like a direct driven model, the tail performance isn't always the best. Sometimes you have a bit of slop in it, and sometimes it's not always accurate, but this thing was amazing when it came to tail performance. And she was very capable in my aerobatics, and I think the main limitation for the aerobatics was me. So yeah, she's a really nice model, and I've seen some questions floating around the internet around is this a beginner model, and I would say yes, this is a really nice beginner model, because you have normal mode, and in normal mode it already comes pre-programmed with safe select, not safe select, but it has gyro stabilization, and it'll auto level and do all of that thing for you. And then for idle up 1, it's pretty docile, and idle up 2, it's very small, but it's super powerful. So I'm pretty sure a beginner could have fun with this, and then like a super experienced 3D pilot for helicopters could also have some fun with this. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be flying this in my front yard like every day now. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I want to say. So
very good, John. I did want to mention again what John was telling us about the satellite receiver. Now this satellite receiver over here, the DSMX compatible receiver, John, what did you call it?
Kenson.
I'll put a link down below. But this is what you guys are going to need in order to power this up with your, with your Spektrum NX-8 or whatever Spektrum that you have. That was the mistake that I did. I thought that you didn't need this thing, so we tried to bind it without the satellite receiver. And I know that there's some information on the web where you can use, so this is a compatible DSMX receiver. It's not from Horizon Hobby. And I know that some people were using the actual Spektrum receivers, but then it required them to plug this satellite into an actual Spektrum receiver and then bind that to their transmitter and then take that out and then plug it back into this fly barless receiver. But this has got to be the easiest way to get this thing up and running on a Spektrum. Just buy one of these, and it's got its own little bind button right here. See, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a tiny button right there for the bind button. So you basically just you do have to hold it while you power the battery on, and then it just binds just like any other Spektrum receiver. So that was very cool. So all right guys, so I'm glad you guys enjoyed John's flight video. I don't know about the whole beginner thing, John, so I will see if I can fly, because I am an absolute beginner when it comes to RC helicopters, and if I can fly it, then yes.
And there is a big question for the M2 Explorer, and some people compare it to the Blade Fusion 180, and they claim that it's better than the Fusion 180, and I would actually say so myself. I mean, it is quite different, I would say, because, I mean, like, the servos feel more fluid, but you can clearly change that. And the power system is also very different. I mean, the Blade Fusion 180, where'd it go? Oh, you have it. The Blade Fusion 180, it's not it's not direct drive. It has this gear here, and it's also belt driven for the tail, so it obviously has some like higher quality parts. But I feel like the experience I had on the M2 Explorer is a lot better than the experience I had on the Blade Fusion 180. And there you can also get a lot more power on the Blade Fusion 180 if you change the things in forward programming. But you can, I mean, you might kill off the battery like I did on my M2 Explorer. But I mean, yeah, there's also people saying that this is the best micro all around this year. I'm not sure about that. I don't fly a lot of micros. I mean, I just got started in like this helicopter thing. I have like 3 micros, but I mean, she is a really good helicopter. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So thanks to John's RC.
And if you're new to this channel,
feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Bye guys, I'll see you in the next video.
All right guys, thank you for subscribing. Have a great day. Bye now.